Okay, let's talk about savings in September 2025. In a moment, I will take you through the top paying accounts, the ones that are going to earn you the most interest this year. But before then, I want to go through a few quick things, a new account worth sharing about, analysis of another one, and a deal that could pay you £100 extra as a bonus into your savings pot. First of all, though, just a reminder that you should be checking, particularly right now, the rate you're getting on your existing savings accounts. And that's because of a couple of things. First of all, we had the Bank of England cut the base rate last month from 4.25% to 4%, which means many easy access accounts, if not all of them, but most of them have been cut, and some of them by more than that 0.25%. So you might be surprised to see what you're actually getting right now. And of course, some people might have had bonuses which have finished. So you might have had at the start of the year, there were a lot of ISAs offering 3-month or 6-month bonuses. Other accounts, quite often, bonuses for 12 months. But again, you might have forgotten that this has been on there and that's gone, so your rate might be lower. So always good reasons to check what are you actually getting. But the other reason that makes it even more important this month is that inflation keeps ticking upwards. The most recent one was 3.8% for last month, and there is an expectation that it would increase further in the coming months, peaking at around 4%. Now, after that, they think it will start coming back down, but it's still going to take quite a while before it gets down to Bank of England's target of 2%. So we could well see inflation consistently around that 3% for another 6-12 months. Again, we don't know these things. Hopefully it will come back down rather than go up. But the main warning thing here is we're at 3.8% now, going up to 4%, maybe staying around those high threes for a while, at the same time that the base rate has been cut and savings rates have been cut, meaning that many of these accounts are now offering us less than 4%. And if you find yourself earning less than inflation, you are losing money in real terms. So really, really important that now you do check what you're getting. Yes, hopefully inflation will continue to track down, but that doesn't mean the base rate won't be cut again. Probably not this month, but maybe later this year, and bring those rates down further. So you always need to keep an eye on it, but particularly this month. And I would say if you are getting less than 4% right now, and I'll take you through all the best paying ones right now, you are still some accounts that pay more than 4%. You absolutely should be moving your money into one of those accounts, whether it's easy access or fixed. You don't want to be getting lower than inflation. And there is one cut I do want to quickly highlight because I did talk about it last month, but it's happened again. And this is the Barclays Rainy Day Saver, which you get either as a Premier account holder or as a Blue Rewards customer. Now, if you get it via the Premier current account, this new rate, which is from October, which is going to be 4.21%, is okay based on what I've just said just now. Still beating inflation. Yes, there are other options out there, but it's all right. Okay, not amazing, but it's still better than many others. But if you get it via the Blue Rewards, you've got to remember that costs you £5 a month to trigger that. Yeah, you get Apple TV with that, which you might think is worth paying £5 for, particularly in light of the recent increase in the monthly subscription for that. But on the whole, I think you want to pay Apple TV for a year. You have other ways to get it for cheap and things like that. You're probably better off not getting Barclays Blue Rewards just for Apple. So if you are getting Blue Rewards just for the Rainy Day Saver, that £5 fee has to come in against your savings. And that really drastically reduces the real rate you're getting. So if you have the maximum £5,000 you could have in that account to earn that top rate, it actually brings you to below 3%, the interest from the new change when it happens in October. And if you have less in there, a lower balance, then in fact, you could be even losing money because of that fee. So I've said it before and I'll say it again. If you have Blue Rewards and you're paying £5 towards it, ditch it. And again, there will be other accounts out there which are not paying a decent amount as well right now. So when I go through this best buys later on, see if any of those are going to work for you. I want to talk about a couple of regular savers very quickly as well. The first one is an account that pays 7.5%. And I've told you guys about this before. It's the Principality Building Society's regular saver. 7.5% sounds fantastic, doesn't it? And you'll certainly see it in newspapers or other videos, people highlighting 7.5% interest is what you can earn. And I don't shout about it. In fact, I'm quite dismissive of it. But I thought I should probably just explain a bit more detail about why I'm dismissive of it, because I've seen a few sort of people come in, oh, what about this account? Why haven't you mentioned this one? So the big issue I have with this Principality Building Society, although the 7.5% rate is great and you can't beat it, it only lasts for 6 months. And that basically means, so in month 1, you can put in up to £200 and that will earn 7.5% for only 6 months. In month 2, you'll put hopefully up to £200 in. Well, that's only going to earn the 7.5% for 5 months and so on down. The last month you put it in, the 6th month, it only earned that 7.5% for 1 month, which is a good thing. In those months, it's still earning that high amount of interest. But then when it finishes, you've got to start again. In fact, I had a comment from someone saying last week, oh, I don't know why you don't like it because when it finishes, I just open up another one and start again. So I keep getting 7.5%. And it's true, you get that 7.5% on the new money you add for the time it's in there. But compared to other regular savers, which are open for 12 months, that's a lot shorter time where you're earning that high rate of interest. I'll give you some numbers here just to help you sort of get an idea of it. So 7.5% after 6 months, £200 a month put in, you'll earn £26 of interest. So if you close that down, well, it automatically closes, doesn't it, after 6 months. But if you open up another one and repeat that with new money going into it each month, it's another 26 quid. So after a year, you get £52 of interest. Okay, it's not bad, is it? That actually, though, is the equivalent to putting it in a 4% account for a full year, regular saver for a full year, again, earning £52. So what's the point? Well, it's new money rather than a lump sum. Okay, right, fair enough. But if you take that same lump sum, that same £200, and put it in a regular saver paying 7% for 12 months, and there are loads of these, as we get through to the best buys, there are a number of these you can pick from. After 6 months, you'll earn less, £24 rather than the £26 with the 7.5% account. But then you don't take that money out. That money will stay in, stay compounding and earning interest for an extra 6 months. So actually what you'll get after 12 months is 90 quid. So you are getting way, way more for the same amount of money, even though the interest rate is less. And in fact, some of these 7% accounts, even if you've got the money to put aside, to put more in there, so that obviously greatly increase that return you get at the end. Of course, though, if you want to go technically into this, you could obviously take that money on that 6-month one when it matures, put it into an easy access account, and then drip feed it back in to the regular saver again, and earn a bit more than that. But it's still going to be less than that 90 quid. It's still much better to go for that slightly lower paying one and put the money in there and get it for the full 12 months. Now, this brings you on to the other regular saver I wanted to talk about very quickly here. This is a brand new one. If you are eligible for it, I definitely think it's worth looking at. This is from Monmouthshire Building Society. Now, you might think, Andy, you told me about that last month. I told you last month about the one that pays 6%. And although, yeah, you can beat 6%, as we'll see in a moment, the difference between this Monmouth Building Society one that pays 6% is you don't need a current account or any kind of loyalty in order to access it. So it's certainly worth looking at it if you don't want to be opening up new current accounts for a regular saver. Now, if you did that last month, you opened it up after I spoke about it, then there's an even better one you can now get. Or potentially you're already a customer via a mortgage or some other product with Monmouthshire Building Society. Because as long as you had an account with them by the 20th of August, so just a few weeks ago, you now get access to a 7% paying regular saver. Again, there are others that do this. But this one has an absolutely huge maximum monthly cap of £1,000. Now that is a lot of money, right? And a lot of people won't have a grand left in their paycheck to put into new savings. And if you've already got some of the other regular savers, then what's the point in putting extra in here when you've already capped out what you're getting in, I don't know, some of the others. But where this might prove advantageous to you is as a kind of way of drip feeding it from other savings you've got, which aren't paying 7%. So you could, hey, let's say you've got £5,000 in a Barclays Rainy Day saver. You could take that money and put £1,000 of it in 1 month into this Monmouthshire Building Society. Next month, another £1,000, another month, another £1,000, and so on until that £5,000 is up. And maybe don't put anything else into it for the rest of the year, but you're still getting, for a good chunk of the year, on a good chunk of your cash, 7%, which is really, really, I think, difficult to get right now on those larger amounts. Again, you have to had the account by the 20th of August or had an account with them as of the 20th of August. So not all of you are going to get it, but if you are eligible, definitely worth looking at it. And I have shared a slight more analysis of this over at becleverwithyourcash.com. Okay, before we get into the top rates, let me talk about a new special offer that has just come through. It's similar to one that has run in the past, and this is from Raisin. Raisin is a savings marketplace. Effectively, what that means is you sign up for an account with them, and then a number of providers are listed in there, and you can choose where you want to put your money, okay? So rather than going directly to some of these different places, just put your money there, and then you can choose, if you want to, you can have a portfolio effectively of different amounts of savings and different providers, but all via one app. Now, the promotion here is for new customers, so you can't have already used Raisin before. But as long as you haven't, and then you open up a new 1-year fix, so it's a 12-month fix this time that has to put it on, and save at least £10,000 in there. So again, that's a lot of money you've got to put in for a long amount of time. You will get a £100 bonus after a year. So it's effectively, that's 1% added to the rate you see. So although they don't have necessarily what's the best 1-year fixed rates right now, they've got 4.33, which, as you'll see in a moment, is a little bit less than what other people are offering. You add that £100 bonus in at the end on 10K, and you've got an effective rate of 5.33%, which is really good for a fix right now. Really good, really, for most of this year to get a rate like that. So obviously there are more terms and conditions with that. There is a link you have to follow. So make sure you do head over to becleverwithyourcash.com/savings. You'll find this particular promotion right at the top of the page. Click through, read all the other bits and pieces that you need to do. The deadline to sign up is the 30th of September, 2025. And you have to put the money in by that same date as well. But that is well worth having a look at that if you are eligible to get that extra perk. But remember, if you are locking money away for a year, you can't access it. So don't put anything aside that you might need to use. Okay, let's look at the top paying accounts then for September 2025. Don't forget, over at becleverwithyourcash.com/savings, myself and the team are updating these tables we have twice a day, morning and afternoon, and maybe more than that if a particular rate comes along that we think really needs to be included. So this is where you will find all the latest information. So in fact, they might be watching this a few days after I've recorded it. Things may have changed. There might be more options as well. I'm only going to give you the top listings here. There are other options that will be listed over on those pages. And not only will you be able to access the easy access and the fixes, we've also got the same for ISAs. We've got pages for regular savers, for kids, for lifetime ISAs, stocks and shares as well if you look at investments. But head to becleverwithyourcash.com/savings first of all, and you can go from there. But let's talk about the best ones for easy access, shall we? And this hasn't changed too much since last month. My top pick here is still the Santander Edge Saver, paying 6% for 12 months. After a year, you lose a 2% bonus drops down, but you can close it and open up a new one, so you can continue to get that money for a year. The maximum you can save in here is £4,000. Now, the caveat with this one, as ever, is to get this, you need the Santander Edge current account, which comes with a fee every single month of £3. Now, you can avoid that if you never set up any direct debits in the account, but if you want to set up some direct debits in there, pay your council tax, your energy, your mobile phone, all that kind of stuff, then you'll get 1% cash back on those bills. So that should earn you enough to cover the fee and a little bit on top, but also give you access to that Edge Saver. If you open it up as the current account as a joint account, you can open up two of these, one each, Edge Saver each. So potentially you can double that amount from £4,000 to £8,000 between you. Also, possibly worth considering these if you are really looking for the highest rates out there. Nationwide's Flex Direct current account pays 5% for 12 months the first time you get it, but only on balances up to £1,500. Personally, I would wait until maybe a switching deal comes around before you do that one. Or there is Chase. Now, if you aren't already a customer with Chase Bank, then as a newbie to the current account, you then open up the Chase Saver, you get 4.75% on that easy access account for 12 months. And there is a much, much higher balance threshold there. You earn that on a much larger chunk of money. It does include a 2.25% bonus, and it does track the base rate, I should say, as well. So if the base rate does cut, that will fall down. But the way other accounts have fallen recently, as we'll see in a second, it's suddenly become a much more competitive account, so that you do have to be a newbie for that. Now let's look at ones that don't require any kind of other account for it. The top pick here in terms of easy and limited access, still that Kahoot Sunny Day Saver. Only lasts for 12 months, maximum of £3,000 you can pay into it, but it does pay 5%, which again is really good on smaller balances. In fact, you can have both a single one for you as an individual and a joint account. So again, as a couple, potentially you could get 3 of these. That's £9,000 you could be getting 5% for a year. After that, we go into a limited account. And I would say I've seen a lot more limited accounts at the top of the tables recently. And this used to be really common, but not for a while, there's that been the case actually, but both on easy access and ISAs, they limit to you how many times you could take a withdrawal. The top one right now, Principality Building Society, 4.45%, maximum of 3 withdrawals a year. If you don't want to faff around with limitations like that, Kahoot has another account paying 4.4%, only for a year. So after a year, you'll be moving your money, but I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. Or Nottingham Building Society is paying 4.35%. So they're your kind of top picks on easy access. If you're looking at ISAs still, Principality again, they are the top here, 4.4%. It is once again a limited access, 5 withdrawals a year. Trading 212, still one of the more competitive options for easy access money, 4.38%, but that is only for new customers. If you're an existing customer, you will get a lower rate. Of course, you might already have a bonus in there, but again, worth checking when that bonus expires to see if you're going to get less than that. Another limited access one from Vida Savings, 4.38%, a maximum of 4 withdrawals a year. Or if you want an ISA without any of those restrictions, then you're probably looking at Kent Reliance, 4.32% right now. Now, if you don't need to access your money anytime soon, then you might want to look at a notice account. The top paying one here for a 2 months notice is 4.52%. That's GB Bank via Prosper. GB Bank again, but directly with them, is the best 3-month notice account. That's 4.5%. And for 6 months, so if you need the money, you have to give 6 months notice to get it, from Stafford Building Society, 4.61%. Now, they're all better than those easy access accounts I said just now. So again, if you don't think you're going to need to access it too often, you might want to look at one of those instead. As we move on to fixed savings accounts, the top 6-month fix here is from Synergy, 4.4%. For 9-month fix, it's Atom at 4.3%. We move into a year, the top one right now, JN Bank, 4.52%. But going back to that deal I mentioned just now with Raisin, they've got an account with Shawbrook, 4.33%. As I mentioned, if you put 10k in that account, that £100 bonus works out as an extra 1%, so 5.33%. So will be a bigger turnover that you get from that one. If we look at 18 months, it's Synergy again, 4.33%. 2-year and 3-year, Chetwood Bank, 4.5% on both of those. And if we look at 4 and 5-year accounts, then JN Bank, 4.4 or 4.52%. If we look at fixed ISAs, the best paying one there right now, Chetwood Bank, 12 months, 4.32%. For 2 years, United Trust Bank, 4.22%. For 3 years, United Trust Bank again, 4.23%. 4-year fixed ISA, UBL, 4%. And 5 years, Shawbrook, 4.25%. And while we're with ISAs, let's have a look at the lifetime ISAs. The top paying one right now is Plum. Their lifetime ISA is paying 4.6%. Now, we talked about regular savers quite a lot there. I said there were a number of them which could get you 7% or more. And these are the ones I've listed here. There are many, many more. Don't forget, I'm only giving you the highlights across all these different categories. Be clever with your cash.com/savings is where you will find more options. But the top paying one, and possibly my top pick, is the Zopa regular saver, 7.1%, maximum £300 a month you can put in. It does require a Zopa current account. It's called Biscuit, but there is no credit check for that. And there are some other perks that you can get. So it's an easy one to get. You don't have to worry about credit checks. But if you're not worried about credit checks, then I would be looking at the First Direct one. It's probably, I think, even though it pays slightly lower, my top pick here. 7%, £300 a month. So what's the difference? The difference between this and Zopa is this is fixed for a year. So you are guaranteed to get 7% for the whole 12 months. Zopa might not change their rate, but they might. So I would go with that First Rate one just to guarantee you're going to get it, because that 0.1% makes very, very little difference between the two. And don't forget, First Direct still has a bank switch offer going right now worth 175 quid. So if you're brand new to them, switch in, get that cash, open that regular saver. Now, there are other regular savers paying above 7%, above 6%. They are listed over on the website. The only one that I will shout out to you right now is if you really don't want to open up another current account, it goes back to that aforementioned Monmouth Building Society, 6% AER variable regular saver, maximum £500 a month. It's a really good option if you aren't able to access the others. So remember, be clever with your cash.com/savings, where we are updating these tables every single day, twice a day, for all the latest updates. My name's Andy Webb. Thanks so much for watching. Check out these videos here for more ways to make the most of your money.